Hi, I'm Leonid, and I came to New Mexico in the USA to find out and tell you how modern Indigenous Americans or Native Americans live here. There are hundreds of Native American tribes in the United States. They are scattered throughout the country. They have different languages, different cultures, different religions. And we will find out how they live. I will release a series of videos about this, and in this video, we will get acquainted with the Zuni tribe.
We call ourselves Shiwi. Shiwi. Oh, Shiwi. Meaning, I'm Zuni.
It is not a large people at all. They live very separately, in isolation, and probably thanks to this, they manage to preserve their authentic culture much better than many other tribes.
In
general, we will get to know the locals and find out to what extent Native Americans still remain indigenous and to what extent they have become Americans.
Is it the proper word to use, Native American?
Yeah, I guess for some, I'm okay with Indian. See, people born back further in the 70s and 80s, we're okay with Indian, you know, because that's kind of, but I know when we visited Indonesia and we first got out, they called us Red Indians, but that was to distinguish us from the India Indians. And as Native Americans, they called us Red Indians. I didn't mind that at all because I was a fan of the Redskins. No more Redskins though, but I was never also about that part. I was never, I would just say, offended at all by that name either, because our people would actually use red ochre or the iron oxide, put it on their face for natural sunscreen. And so actually they'll look red. Oh, well.
Visually, the reservation certainly does not look rich, especially if we compare it with American cities where white Americans live. Even with small towns, small villages, where often everything is very well groomed, so beautiful, it is clear that they are more or less prosperous there. Here you can see, everything is poor. Many houses are basically trailers assembled from some kind of garbage. Here people live in very poor conditions by American standards. But not all of them. There are some pretty good houses, right? High quality.
Yeah, thank you. You can give us a little tour, you know, to show around.
Well, they do, and go to them teaching and do that. This is my room box. We're in the room, 1, 2, 3 rooms and bathroom, and but this is a big old house.
It's a big one. How many people live here?
Just 5 of us. 5. This is to be a big house, real big house. And there's the big old rooms, and the housing came in the top bigger room.
But all of you, your relatives, your friends, relatives, yeah?
Relatives, yeah. Then my brother. My brother and over 2
So you're saying that the government gave you the house to live in?
Yeah.
But do you still pay some piece of rent? No?
No.
Nothing?
No.
And utilities?
What?
Utilities?
We pay for that shit. We pay for it.
And what is that thing? Is it a gas stove or a wood stove? Do you cook on it? Just heating?
Yeah, for eating.
So you said, for instance, that you use wood to warm your houses. Is there no gas? No.
Yes, there is gas. There's propane. There's, we have all the modern amenities. You'd have to understand that. Of course, it's of luxury for some people. It's about affording it. And so, I choose to have a wood fire. You can't beat a wood fire than a propane fire. You just can't. You know? So you don't have to worry about all that, the modern amenities. So, you know, whatever people have out there, whatever you have in your home, we have the option of having it too, but it's just, we just choose not to sometimes.
There are some, we do get food assistance. People want food, they go, a van come and at the fairgrounds, people will line up if they want.
Just free food.
Yeah, free food and from government, last time we got assistance for anybody want propane, anybody want help with electricity or with water, but they have to go to the office and pick up applications and fill out.
Do government gives you houses or gives you support to build houses, or you, like all other Americans, just pay your debt for it all the time?
I guess low-income situation, somewhat they, even though they're low income, they'll put you in a house, but still, at a certain point, they will charge you for it to rent to own.
The reservation is not big at all. In fact, it is just one small city in which we are now, and the lands around it. Unlike many other Native American tribes, the Zuni were not forced into the area. I mean, the founding fathers of America took many other tribes once and forcibly moved them to other regions, from fertile lands to infertile ones, or they were driven out from lands where there were minerals. The Zuni, on the contrary, have always lived here, and this is also a rather unique case.
I think it's a very nice place. It's a very welcoming area. We don't have a whole lot of violence as other places like the cities do. And we can pretty much walk around here and just kind of be safe most of the time, yeah.
Walking around the reservation is very scary because there are dogs everywhere. And no matter what small street you turn onto, immediately they start to bark at you and get angry. Very scary. I'm very afraid of dogs.
Did you have any name for this whole land, I mean America, before the Spaniards came?
Mostly, well, we still use it now. It's like I said, Mother Earth, and I don't know how. Let's see, the whole Earth together is Ulofnan, meaning the whole world. And like I said, Awetelincita is our Mother Earth, center of Mother Earth.
How this place was actually designated, it all starts what we call the Big Bang Theory era. Father Son has two messengers, North Star, Morning Star. They communicate to Father, they're told what to do. Obeying Father's command, they dart into Mother Earth. Flame went out, vegetation is growing outside Mother Earth. They continue, they stop at the core of the world, known as the world of Soot. This world, pitch black darkness, not knowing how life is, these two stars create us like salamanders. Living in this underworld, only certain species of trees will grow. Trees grew, they used them as ladders to get into the second world. Second world was the world of water, also now known as gas, which these gas companies are pumping from underground. Trees grew, they went into the third world. Third world is the world of algae. Trees grew just before they exit out into the fourth world. The two stars appear to them again. They said, Father Son has given us this boundaries, the heart of Mother Earth. Wherever you guys find this middle place, this is where you all shall live.
The population here is around, with Zuni tribal members, maybe around 15,000.
And how many Native American tribes exist in the U.S.? Like, do you know the number?
No, I don't.
Hundreds?
Hundreds of them. Yeah, there's hundreds of them. Just within this New Mexico, 19, but Arizona, they got 22. And we are recognized in both New Mexico and in Arizona.
And they all have different languages.
All are
Different religion.
Yeah.
By the way, I've heard that there is this kind of special tribal ID or some kind of document where you count your blood quantum
Yeah,
Could you explain this, please?
tribal census numbers. Yeah, those are issued through, I guess, enrollment numbers when the kids are born. That's they use those numbers as the population of the reservation.
So do you have just American passport or American ID, or you also carry something special like Indigenous people passport? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's our tribal census card, which is something that we carry around, depicting how much Zuni blood you have. Yeah, it's just another way of identifying how much Zuni you have in you. For other different purposes, mainly to apply for, assistance with Zuni government, or, so one thing I've used it for is, you can take it to the four corners and they charge you to go into that area. But as a Zuni tribal member, you show them your census card and they'll let you be for free. It's like that with other areas too, like Grand Canyon. They charge you to go into Grand Canyon, but for Zunis to go, they're allowed to just go in without being charged. So like we do have individuals that are half Zuni and half something else, half Navajo or half white or half other ethnicity.
Indigenous blood you have. Do you take tests or
Yeah,
do the family history? So how it works?
it's in between. Mostly it's just depending on who's the father and who's the mother.
Mhm.
So if it's the mother, then you're basically probably half the, and then the father, you're half that.
So what's the limit? How much Indigenous blood is enough to be considered as Indigenous?
I guess I have just half or at least a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure about that. As far as some people claim oh, I have Cherokee blood in me.
But traditionally there is kind of no limits to marry with other tribes.
No.
When I was younger, I was told by my parents not to marry out of Zuni. Just marry another Zuni, no Navajo, no other. I better not say names. Yeah, just marry within the village, no outside.
But do parents arrange your marriage or you just
No,
do it yourself?
yeah.
Did things change? Now can you marry Navajo?
It's not approved, so some do.
There are other reservations here next to the Zuni. There is a large Navajo reservation. There is a small Hopi reservation inside the Navajo reservation. And the Zuni's relationships with various other tribes are also different. For example, the Navajos have always been their enemies. And they told me an interesting story about how the Zuni defended themselves from Navajo raids. Among the Navajo, an owl is considered a bad omen. So the Zuni placed pictures of owls or figurines of owls in their houses, and when the Navajos broke into such houses, they realized that this would not end well and retreated.
So for the pueblos here.
Yeah, no. Only. Okay, maybe any of these.
You can't marry any of
Any of these.
Okay.
Pick the lots.
So no Navajos up here.
No.
No.
Because Navajo was enemies to Zuni. The Navajo word for Zuni is Apachu. Apachu means Navajo. And if you break down the Zuni word, it means no good.
Were Navajos forced to move from north up here?
They're just kind of just wandering around.
Yeah, they were
They're
just
just
like,
wanderers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they weren't really forced, but they're just coming down from Alaska, raiding. They started to see our pueblos, they raid them, so we all become enemies with one another.
And now, what the relationship now?
500 years later, the government comes. No more scalping each other, no more killing each other. It's against the law. So now we become friends. And now in the present years, present day, intermarrying with one another. So now we're all friends with one another. I myself have Navajo friends that I went to school with at Gallup's.
So it's more appropriate for Zuni to marry a white American, like non-tribal person, than a person from another tribe.
Oh, probably better to marry another tribal, another native than American. Like Laguna, Acoma, those Hopi, okay to marry them, but not too much American, no. But some families accept. Well, it's up to the non-native that come, and if they really like Zunis, maybe we get to love them.
So white Americans also come to live here.
Some people come as teachers, and maybe there's some jobs that they can do out here as far as like construction work. I know that there's definitely job openings for different government jobs here.
What people usually do for living here?
Mostly like there's the grocery stores. I think the main one is the grocery stores. We have our tribal offices and stuff. That's where most like the community works in. Some of them I think actually has gone out of town to work. Some the local is Gallup, Rama. Yeah, once everything's full here, there's hard for people to get jobs here. They go out. So that's just the main thing.
These are some of my tools that I use on a daily basis with the torch, cutters, drill bits. So we're an arts cooperative. We opened in 2019, and the way that we developed this shop here is that we got help from the college here, the Zuni-Navajo College. We are upgrading with the technology here. So and then schools, we teach them to go get a higher education, but some of these electives that they take at high school have ceramic classes, pottery classes, weaving, jewelry. So once they learn these traits, they end up, most of them staying here. Maybe, over 10% would actually go to a college. But most of them will continue what their grandfathers were starting, crafts type.
What kind of other jobs people do?
There's construction opportunities. There's marketing clerk. They have different job openings sometimes. Jobs like cooking in the deli, and just odd jobs where people, if they need help to haul wood, they can do that. If they need help in construction, we can do that. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot. That's why a lot of people are artists, and that's how they make their daily lives.
So it's like more people are self-employed.
Yeah. Yeah, come on in, folks. This is my mom and dad's workshop.
Well,
You're welcome to film in here. This place has a lot of good stories for me and a lot of good memories. It's really basically the place where I started my work. Here, my parents would do their silversmith work, and for 55 years they've been at it still. Then one day I picked up a piece of mother of pearl, which is a rock similar to this stone here. This is a mother of pearl. I'm gonna show what this is, and I picked it up and made a rainbird. In this is the original version of the rainbird that I first made. So there's some of my work right there. This is actually an eagle that I made. Let's see if it's down. I need to work on having this done. There it goes.
so you came here to do business?
Yeah, most of the stuff that are made are for like for the women. It's all these aprons, cooking aprons, and there's some of the bags, handbags, traditional handbags. The vests for the men, the little bags, things like just traditional stuff come out. Nowadays, it's hard for locals to get the actual real thing because of the price gone up.
But it's all locally made.
It's all local, but homemade.
By yourself or?
Yeah,
Really?
myself, yeah. Yeah, some people that come around can't really afford the the bigger or like the expensive material. So
What is the average income in the reservation, roughly?
Probably about 50, 60,000. Because, you know, if you're doing good on your crafts, you get well known, you can make more than that.
and we have a lot of abandoned buildings that just really it would be really nice to see them restored and developed.
Like this here as well. 53 Cafe was a pretty nice place to go to. I used to come here after school and have like a chili cheese fries kind of snack. This one here used to be another shop and like a small grocery store / jewelry store.
So we were told that businesses here don't last longer than a couple of years because there is simply no demand, no consumers. And, for example, there was a local laundry here with washing machines where they sold ice cream, some small items, and rolling papers. So this store with laundry was constantly robbed. Well, apparently it was some locals who robbed it. That's why it closed.
Other tribes have casinos. That is more or less the way they make their monies. But us, we do not have a gaming
And why is that?
facility. Because we're off of the reservation. Most of these pueblos are along the freeways. Travelers are always frequently going on the freeway. That's what gathers their people. Us being isolated, we don't have that much of a people come our way to, make ends meet. So I think it'll be a losing situation on our behalf if we do have a casino here. More or less, we'll just have our own people get addicted to gaming, and that's not what we want them to do, so.
Really? Like, how much is it? It's $5. Yeah. We came here to make some cash, just to have something in our pockets. This is my my cousin. Her name is Rebecca, and she's making fry bread, like a traditional kind of food that we have with the Navajos.
Yeah, man.
I think it's really hard for people that live on the reservation to go out to the big city because it seems like it's so much because you gotta have like besides the income, like things costing so much, there's other things that they would get into like alcohol or drugs and stuff like that. And then for Native Americans, it's really addicting for them to get into that, and it's really hard for them to stop.
But this here, it is a dry reservation, meaning no alcohol. So you get caught with more than so much, you're considered a bootlegger. And, it is a high usage here, just like any other world. So right off, have them in mile north of the reservation line, we do already have a liquor store. Gallup's much more cheaper, but others that don't, have jobs, they would go and buy liquor, bring it here, and it's more or less sell. So it's the same problem as everywhere else, the same as drugs.
If you get caught drinking, so you get a fine, or
You get fined, and then after so much, you probably be transferred to the recovery to try and better yourselves, for the future.
I lost my job because lots of alcoholism. I got pulled into drinking too much, lost job. Had to learn how quick and fast. I'm a self-taught silversmith. I teach myself how to make jewelry. So because I have children, I have to support them. I learned early in life to be self-reliant, make own money. I don't go around ask people for money. I make it myself.
is alcoholism or drug addiction a big problem nowadays in the East?
We do have programs that, a lot of programs that try to help the people, but it's up to the individual. They want to quit, they can. Like me, have choice, improve life. For most people that don't want to motivate self to make jewelry or art.
And what about firearms? Are they allowed?
No, more or less for hunting purposes. You know, but for pistols, no, not really. But we are, you know, we do go and kill game for our religion. So birds we can harvest here, songbirds like from Statler jays, gray flickers, woodpeckers. These are what we consider songbirds. We'll harvest them here, but anything off the reservation, that's against federal law.
Zuni are more farmers, or I know, or they have cattle.
Some of them have cattle. Most of them, like my in-laws, they have sheep. They herd sheep, and then my in-laws' grandma and them, they also have cattle out. So I think most of the local area have cattle and sheep. So, and then most of the farm and stuff too. So, it's a little bit of both.
By the way, the Zuni became livestock breeders and farmers for a very interesting reason. The Spaniards could not conquer the local tribes for a very long time. They simply could not take them by force. And then they decided to change their approach.
1692, another group comes our way. This time, they're doing the opposite. They're being much more nicer. So they're bringing in much more crops that we, you know, trade of seeds, we become friends. Cows, horses, sheep come. Now we got more meats to eat. Life is getting easy for us. You know, with us in Spanish, you know, integrating with one another. Now they're intermarrying within our village here. So after the Spanish come integrate within our families, now we have the Chabasis, Sanchez, Calabasas, other family last names that are still existing in the modern world.
Tell me about your names. Is there any special tradition of like giving names to people? Do you have kind of traditional names and American names?
I think it's both. There may be some old traditional Zuni names, but a lot of it comes from the interactions with the Spaniards. So the names like Pablito or Poblano, or you know, different names that have been carried down. A lot of them, like my mother's last name is Sanchez, and that's quite clear. So like a Mexican Spaniard. Yeah, my name is Christopher Jachu. My middle name is Alan, which comes from one of my grandfathers.
And some would, get Zuni names. They would be given either by the Mudheads, one of our elderly societies of the Kachinas. Maybe little boys want bow and arrow, and this Kachina will come and say, "Do you have a Zuni name?" If not, this Kachina will actually make a name for this little kid itself, and it's going to carry on forever, you know. That's how names are given out, or unless your grandpa gives you your own, you know, Zuni name. Gives you your Zuni name, this Kachina comes and, "Do you have a Zuni name?" "Yeah, it's called this." And then from there, they will refrain what the grandpa gave him. So Zuni names are carried on more or less like either animals, plants, and such.
Like, could you give a couple of examples?
Maybe, I can't really think of.
I mean, don't you know anyone who carries a Zuni name?
Just through like a nickname process, but everybody has, you know, the regular English names these days. But to me, to just think of one right now, I kind of, my brain malfunctioned. But yeah, we're integrating with one another, you know, because Spanish were helping us actually out at the ending, instead of trying to force us to go anywhere. But our religions never combined here due to the fact that we are so isolated. Our religions never integrated with the Catholic religion, so us and Hopi still retain most of our religion here.
So when I used to travel for school, I actually went to a church, and they started praying like that, singing and everything. I was like, this is almost like ours. It's just like singing in English other than in our own language. We have our own language, how we sing. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling somehow, go watch the dances. Go watch go relieve yourself. And so
It's not blended with Christian religion.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
Not at all. It's a whole separate kind of thing.
We do have our own religions that never combine with the Catholic religion and our religion, but our religion more or less is what we call the Kachinas. Kachinas used to be real spiritual beings that would come from our Zuni heavens, come and take part in dancing here. So they do, represent animals, maybe even other, stuff, that they, parrots, bears, turkey, they represent different animals and such to where they would come do the ceremony here, whatever's called upon. And after they do the ceremony, they will go back home.
A long time ago, my children were traveling towards Arizona where Zuni heavens are. They were traveling early morning hours. They came across a fog. Maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, came across a fog, and fog was coming and the road. They parked in the middle of the highway and started taking pictures. And when they came home and looked at them, in the pictures were Zuni spirits going to the heavens. So I really do believe the spirits are around.
And what is Zuni heavens?
That's where all the spirits go when they leave this earth. It's out that way west.
Spirits only or people too?
Just the spirits. But we saw it in the fog. People were walking carrying their prayer sticks with Pendleton blanket outline of people in the fog. So I really do believe.
I myself went to a Christian school, but once I got out of the school, I got in tune with my religion. Maybe some that went to Catholic school maybe get baptized, and they'll belong there. But when there are traditional doings going on in our village here, they'd rather attend that on a Sunday. If there's nothing going here on a Sunday, they'd rather go and visit friends, at the church itself. So they still do both. But when it comes to our religion, they'd rather do their own religion.
It's in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their primary religion, I guess I would say.
The Zuni are so careful to preserve their cultural heritage that they prohibit any recording of things happening here related to culture and religion. I mean, here hangs a huge sign that says you are not allowed to take photos or film anything related to religion. All these cultural activities cannot be filmed, photographed, or even sketched in the form of a drawing. Oh, and they also said that the fine for this unauthorized filming is $50,000.
Okay, and the last one. Maybe you can tell us a legend or a myth about how Zuni people evolved.
There's our actual emergence story. That's from saying that we came out from the Grand Canyon, made our way here, make our way this way. Certain times where we can tell those stories too is like with our religious, with our medicine groups. Some of them, there's only winter times when you can only tell some of those stories. There's different stories that are told throughout the Zuni religion. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's only certain times where we can tell those stories.
Wow,
And-
that's curious.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is a very cool story about the American anthropologist Frank Hamilton, who managed to directly infiltrate the Zuni community and live with them for a long time. He made friends with everyone. They almost considered him one of their own. This is an absolutely unique case, and he was already on such friendly terms with everyone here that he was even able to become something like a clergyman, something like a priest, of the Zuni religion. And in the end, in order for him to become this clergyman according to the rules, he had to scalp the enemy. So just imagine, a white American, a scientist, managed to find some enemy and scalped him. And this needs to be done with a living, still breathing person. Yes, such a feat for the sake of science. As a result, the scientist collected a lot of information about the life and culture of the Zuni and went to Washington to present it. And as soon as he talked with some influential people from Washington, he went to lunch. As the legend says, as soon as he took out his lunch sandwich, an arrow pierced his neck. Well, the Zuni apparently did not want all this collected information to go somewhere outside.
Killing was still alive and the tickets alive out. So now since government put out laws, no more scalping. So that's these years we only have one last bull priest that's gonna take all their are doing the bull priest position. And we can't scalp it and win anymore to where we do not know what's gonna happen up to this last one remaining dies.
But he did scalping like
So how many years ago? I'm in the 60s, 70s. Oh yeah, but he's getting old too now these days. But
means that the man killed someone back in the 60s.
yeah.
Wow. It was a crime back then.
He was, but he got away with it. Oh, that.
But before that, you didn't have any written history, legend. nothing.
Everything, this creation story that I told you, was just all verbally through generations. But now it is, documented, and that's what the children are being taught at schools. And then prayers, they're being, elementary students are actually taught the prayer, like asking blessings to Father, Son every morning. So just like how we were forced to say the Pledge of Allegiance, they learn this prayer now. They do that on a daily basis.
That's just something that we do is you greet the sunrise with the little prayer and a little cornmeal, just to kind of...
Do you have kind of altar?
No, you just go outside and you just wait for the sun to come up, and you do your little prayer and little cornmeal. That's about it. Not a lot, not a big deal. But the fasting, so we do. For me, I do like the two different fastings. One during the spring, and one during the late winter. That's when we do our fastings, and it's usually 10 days of where you can't buy anything, you can't spend any money, you can't throw your trash outside, you can't have any fires outside, you can't use your guns, you can't go fishing, you can't do any hunting. The one in the late winter is when we can't eat the meat or grease. So a lot of it's just like steamed vegetables and pasta for us. So when they die, usually we have a funeral after the 4th day, and the funeral is at night. So the body will be brought down around the 10 o'clock p.m. and they'll have the funeral. People will come and see them for the last time, give them like parting gifts, and this will last all until the sunrise, and then the body will be buried.
Our traditions change from fetal to laying them face up, and now I use the term wrap them up like a burrito, bury them.
Oh,
So you don't take it to church?
no, we don't take them to church.
Zuni is a matriarchal society where the women are in charge. They own the homes. The men, when they get married, they come and live at the woman's home. And if things don't work out, even all the lands and the homes belong to the women. But the Zuni religion is based on the men's prayers, and the women are not invited into the kiva houses.
Do women have any special functions in the society of Zuni? What else? So men do religious things, right? So what else women do?
The women do all the cooking. There's a lot of cooking. You see those hornos outside? There's a lot of baking that happens during religious events.
So these are known as outside ovens. More or less, now people said it was Spanish influenced, but it actually came from the African slave that first encountered us, Estebanico Dorantes. It was actually from Morocco, where these type of ovens are settled there at their hometown. So more or less him being with the Spanish, they said Spanish influence, but outside ovens used for cooking bread. So now they what the charcoals. They'll put a pot of stews, maybe turkey, brisket, roast beef in there. Put a sandstone slab door, and then they'll plaster it. Next morning, wake up, pop it open. Soup will still be bubbling, more or less thicker juices. And the next day you can feed 100-some people. Now the newer generation now use it as a pizza cooker, pie cooker. So it is now a multi-purpose. Now the newer generation like us, we eat burgers, pizza for lunchtime on daily basis, tacos.
Ho Pamela la simulation la ho li shiwi na no chawo ke and ho li la kwa wo pa no ayu bachi.
What that means?
My name is Pamela Lassila. I was born here in Zuni, and I've grown up, and I'm a jeweler, and I make jewelry.
Okay, should Doreen Alonso Nishia, Hotso Nishlin Nakaitna Bashishing. I just introduced, we have clans in I'm part of Meadow people and part of the Mexican clan.
Could you give an example of Zuni language? Just say a couple of sentences, how it sounds like.
Meaning they say, hello, how are you guys doing today? I will say, he said, Eugene is coming by with his bike here. So, you can, translate more or less anything into, our religion, our language itself.
And amongst each other, do you speak Zuni or English?
We Zuni most of the time, but the new generation now, we will talk to our children even though they're being taught at school. Or they'll understand what we're telling them, but in return, they're going to respond in English. And more or less that's happening throughout the world of all these younger generations. They understand your original language, but in return, they'll respond in English. Mm-hmm. I blame cartoons for that purpose.
Do everyone in Navajo speak native language?
I'm gonna say maybe 50 or 40%. It's the older ones really speak it. Like my son, he doesn't speak Navajo at all, or he doesn't even understand. But I shouldn't say that. Yeah, then you have my younger son, he understands when you talk to him in Navajo. So it's like, 50-50. But there are...
Do they teach it at school?
Yeah, they teach at school.
And kids still don't speak?
I don't know, yeah.
Why aren't you interested in the language? Don't you find it useful?
Yeah, I would say, I guess so. And like how do you, I don't know.
Do you have any modern culture? I mean, musicians, I don't know, rappers who rap in Navajo language, or I don't know, YouTubers who do Navajo blogging. Is there anything like that?
I don't think so. I never seen anything like it. Yes. I don't really think so. I think there are some out there that I don't really know of, but I never see anything.
On the one hand, the Zunis complain that the language is disappearing, that children do not want to speak it. On the other hand, it seems very surprising to me that such a small people, only 20,000 people, managed to preserve their language for so long.
Do you feel you're doing well in terms of preserving culture?
I think so. We are, in the, from 50s to the, all the way to the 80s, they were saying, no, more English, more English. You guys speak too much Zuni, more English, more English. But then when we found out that, language is key to our people's survival, we started saying, well, more Zuni, not so much English. So we're still trying to find a balance somewhere. Here as a people, we're preserving as much as we can. There's a surge in preservation in the different, community programs that we have here.
Could you say that you're losing culture slowly? How it feels?
I don't think so, because there's a lot of language and culture stuff online now to where they can actually look it up. I don't want to say, in a way they're kind of gearing away from it on the Navajo side. Yeah.
For every group of Navajo in the reservation live at a certain area.
Yeah.
So the northern Arizona is more traditional than we're way out in the base of Fremont, Alamo, and Piancito Sound. So out in the reservation, which we call down towards Arizona, that's where the main.
In terms of infrastructure, there is only the most necessary. There are several schools, a hospital, a police station, and something like a city hall. But there is basically no infrastructure for, I don't know, spending a pleasant time here. There are no small businesses either, except for souvenir shops.
What community lacks in terms of life conditions?
Good stores, I think. Real social infrastructure, like bowling alleys, arcades, people for places to people to socialize. Our socialization happens at the plaza during our religious cultural events, and that type of socializing, it's normal, but then I think people understand that also socializing means to be out at a burger joint or, things like that, where it's more modern American type of thinking. So, I'm perfectly happy at home when I'm working with my animals, being with my family.
You consider yourself American or Native American? More.
I'm Native.
Probably more Native American. Yeah, but you do have to talk, because my husband, he's a welder, and he goes out there, and there are places where he works that they're very racial, but the way he talks about people out there is like the natives and the Hispanics are the main ones running. Like, he works in the power plant. They're the main ones running the power plant, while the I guess I don't want to say the white people.
White people?
White people. Those are the ones that really judge. They really judge them out there. Just being Native American, we're really proud of who we are and the language we can speak and the things that we can understand. I think it's a really good privilege, and I'm hoping my children and their children will remember the things that we do and stuff like that.
And do you feel yourself American or Native American?
Shiwi first, and then American, and Native American next. That's funny because, I've always been Zuni. You can't take that away. An American because, I stand by a lot of the things we do to get ahead in this world as an American. I've seen so much success from others that have come into America to be successful, and why can't we as Native Americans be that successful too? And so I'm not quiet about that. I take advantage of all the things I can that's American.
Are you as a nation, as people, do you feel yourself oppressed or, lost in this country?
No, I don't think so. I think as a nation, we do that to ourselves, by not reaching out to find, what we can take advantage of America. That's all I can say, because there are plenty of opportunities out there, and why we choose to be not choose to move forward, that's all us. That's all on us. And so it may be the narrow thinking of some people that might be hurtful for our community, but I know being out there and having been out in the world, I've seen it. Like I've seen what's out there. But you know what though? I was in some of the most poorest countries and ate with monks. And I was in some of the most richest countries and ate with ambassadors. But you know what? I was really glad to come home.
We've always lived here, and whatever is around is all precious to us. When I was growing up, my grandfather told me, learn how to speak English. That way when visitors like you come, children, you talk to them. But now, I remember my mother telling me, don't talk English anymore, talk Zuni. And I'm like, well, you told me to talk English. She said, no more English, talk Zuni now. And this was when I'm like maybe 40 years old. Told me to speak Zuni. I do speak fluent Zuni.
So how are you doing comparing to other nations like Navajos, for instance, or Hopi?
Okay, well that's good that you asked. I think being that Zuni was isolated and in the middle of nowhere, really, it helped to preserve a lot of the culture, the archaic culture, the old stuff, the old. That's still predominant here. There's some Spanish influence with the Catholic Church that's here in the community. There's also a Mormon church. There's also a Christian Reformed church, but not all the Zunis are, accepting of that. I'm Zuni.
Do you feel yourself more native or more American?
Native. I more or less stick to my native roots here. I settle myself here and more or less try and leave the outside world, unless I have to go into town, that's when I have to deal. But most of the time I'm here waiting for visitors like you, so when they come I educate who we are, what we are, and how our religion runs here. So.
Well, this is how modern Native Americans of the Zuni tribe live. This is life on the reservation. As a conclusion, I would like to read a quote from a book by writers who, on their journey across America a century ago, also visited indigenous reservations. And it seems to me they formulated all their impressions very well about what they saw and learned. The governments that destroyed the Indians are now trying to preserve their small offspring. A liberal gentleman has been placed at the head of the Indian Department in Washington. So-called Indian reservations were established where whites were allowed to trade with Indians only under state control. Having previously driven the Indians away from fertile lands, several miserable pieces of desert were now assigned to them, and this is considered a great boon. They've opened museums of Indian art. The Indians buy their drawings, carpets, painted clay bowls, and silver bracelets for a penny. They built several excellently equipped schools for Indian children. Americans are even a little proud of their Indians. The director of the zoo is so proud of this rare specimen of an old lion. The proud beast is very old and no longer dangerous. Its claws have become dull, its teeth have fallen out, but his skin is beautiful. It was culture shock. From the Zuni Reservation, USA, write in the comments what you think about this whole story. Let's discuss. It was Leonid, and I'm going back home. See you.